Like I'm just up a pawn now. But and I thought he was improvising this gambit. He just made it up. But apparently this is a position that he studied. I played a national master in a very fresh and interesting position. This is round 2 of the Lehigh Valley Open, and I won my first round, and I get the pleasure of playing someone higher rated than me. It's Matthew O'Brien. This is my 4th time playing against him. Very strong player. He has reached 2,400 plus in USCF. Very strong master, and I'm excited to play him once again. So I play Knight f3. I've only played this once before in an over-the-board ready game. I'll put a card in above with the game. I played against Austin. I got a good position. And I've played Matthew O'Brien before, and it was a Sicilian, and it was really interesting. I eventually lost, and like Matthew O'Brien has a tendency to blow me off the board with both the black and white pieces. So I thought it would be interesting to change it up and play Knight of 3 and play a more slower, maybe more positional game, because I know he can checkmate me. So how is he gonna checkmate me in a position like this? But kind of my thought, and I've been having some success with Knight of 3 in online games, so I thought might as well bring it over the board. He plays Knight of 6, and we both start our fianchetto with G3 and G6, and we're both going to put our bishops here on these long diagonals. I play B3. So this is what I like to do if they play G6. So I do the crisscross applesauce bishops, and I've been enjoying these positions. And he plays D6. So if I continue with my crisscross applesauce, then he's gonna play E5 and maybe even E4. So the whole point of D6 is to prepare E5, and I decide to stop him from playing E5 by playing the move D4. He castles, and I finish my fianchetto on the king side, and now he plays this move E5, which I wasn't so surprised because I've seen this before in an online game or two, where after D takes E5, black is going to go Knight G4, and the point is that I cannot take on D6 because my bishop on B2 is hanging. So I was like, okay, he's going to utilize this pin. That's his idea, but then he takes back. And I was like, what? You can do this? And I thought he was improvising. Like, I thought, okay, this is just a gambit that he's improvising. Because the point is that after, I just went a pawn. Like, that's the point. Like, I'm just up a pawn now. But, and I thought he was improvising this gambit. He just made it up. But apparently this is a position that he studied and has looked at a decent bit. And apparently already after bishop takes E5 and Knight C6, the position is equal or even like minus 0.1. It's slightly better for black, which is nuts. According to him. I'm not going to check the engine until the very end of this game. But yeah, and I'll show you why. So apparently he said if I had played bishop C3, he wasn't exactly sure how he was going to proceed. Because he hasn't looked in this position in a while, so he maybe doesn't remember all the details about how this gambit is supposed to work, but he's confident enough to figure it out over the board, which makes sense because he's a very strong player. I was thinking about bishop c3 or bishop b2, and I wasn't 100% sure. I thought that after bishop c3, he could maybe play bishop f5, and I could decide to either give the pawn back, just castle and just give the pawn back, and now, everything's fine. Or I could play knight a3 to defend the pawn. But there was something I didn't like. I forgot what I didn't like about it. But it looks fine. I would also have to be aware of some knight b4 nonsense. I don't think any of it works. But the idea is that you open up the bishop here, and but maybe a c3. But then this is move c5. So this bishop is almost getting trapped here, and looks kind of scary. Like, how are you not losing the rook on a1? So I wasn't sure what to think after bishop c3. I didn't like the fact that I could never move the c2 pawn up. So I didn't really like that. But maybe this was a good way to go. Maybe I just give my pawn back immediately, and maybe that's what I should do. But instead, I thought, well, why do that? Why? I want him to prove that this was a good sacrifice in the first place. I'm just going to play bishop b2, and after knight b4. So that's one upside, is that like now, I guess I should say it's the one downside. So the fact that my bishop is not on c3, I don't even have the option to take on the knight on b4. And now he's attacking the c2 pawn. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to play bishop b2. After knight b4, I'm going to play knight a3, defend the c2 pawn, prevent the fork on my king and rook. And then after bishop f5, I'm just going to castle. So now if he takes, for example, either with the knight or the bishop, then I have rook c1, winning the c7 pawn, and white is doing quite well here, because I'm gonna get a rook on the 7th rank and do my best Pac-Man impression. Waka waka waka. Okay, so as a bishop 5, I castle, and now he plays c6. So now if I just play rook d1, for example, he could just take here, and the pawn on c7 is no longer hanging, which makes sense. So I play c4. And I thought, I'm still up a pawn. If I can solve the issue of this knight on a3, I'm just up a pawn. But this knight on a3, it is an issue. That's the problem. And but I was feeling relatively good here, because I'm like, I really want to play c5 and get my knight to c4 and then play knight to d6, or I can play bishop e5 here, or bishop e5 and then or rook d1. Maybe I want to get my knight out to open up my bishop here. Also, the pawn on c4 blocks out the d5 square for either of the knights really well as well. So I felt pretty good. He plays a5, and I wanted to play the move c5, but I forgot what I was thinking. I think maybe the move knight e4 makes it tough, but maybe I can play rook c1. But then he could take on a2. Maybe I could play the move rook fc1. But once again, I cannot. That means I won't be able to go knight c4, or else the pawn will be hanging. Although, let's say he made a random move. If he did take on c5, then I have this move attacking the rook. But then he can counterattack. But then maybe this is still good for me, I guess. Tough to say. So maybe in this case, he's not planning to take on c5. If I do go knight c4. So yeah, I wanted to go c5, but I thought this pawn on c5 was really, really weak. At the moment, I felt like rook d5 worked. And I was like, how am I going to defend this pawn? But maybe once again, I could go rook here. Maybe this does actually work. It's a little bit scary. Maybe even a lot of bit scary. But, for example, I could maybe have a discovered attack on the rook, but I doubt it, because he just takes. And if I take the bishop, for example, and if I take the bishop, for example, then he takes back with the rook. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the best way to proceed is. But I ended up going bishop e5. Another thing that I would like to do is go knight d4 to attack the bishop and control the c2 square. This is one thing that I could also consider, but I didn't like the look of knight g4, or maybe even knight e4. And now if I take the bishop, then bishop takes b2, and it's a fork. And if I go here, check. I'm still going to be down a piece, actually, no matter what. So I wanted to go knight d4 to attack the bishop and control the c2 square even more. For example, in an ideal world, he would move his bishop back, and then I can move my other knight to c2, and I've solved the issue of my knight on a3. So that was kind of one of my thoughts. But I ended up going bishop e5 because I didn't like if knight d4, then knight e4, and there's this really strong pin. So just to be concise with that. So I played bishop e5. So then now, let's say he gives me move. Now I go knight d4. I don't have to worry about knight d4 or anything like that because my bishop is outside of the pawns. I could go knight c2 here probably. It's a little bit scary. He might have like a Desperado. He might have a Desperado or something like that. But anyways. I thought bishop b5 was a good move, and my opponent, Matthew, he said after the game that bishop e5 was a good move to be able to play knight d4 in the future, perhaps. He plays knight e4 though, and the one thing I really underestimated in this position was the c5 square. Like, well, firstly, our bishops are seeing each other, and I basically have to take, so we trade bishops, and the issue is now the knight is going to c5, and my position is dead. In the fact that, like, I can't stop it. Honestly, in this position, maybe the best move is to go c5, giving up the pawn to go knight c4. Just because my knight is so dead on the a3 square. I think that legitimately might be something I want to do. But even then, after a4, like, my queen side is getting blasted open, and his rooks are going to be on two nice open files. And, oh, whoops. Oh, my goodness. I'm breaking my computer. Okay. His rooks are going to be two open files, and black definitely has a very, very nice position. But already my position is very, very hard to play. I play rook fc1 to, once again, to guard the c2 square, to maybe push c5 and get my knight to c4. But he plays knight c5, completely blocking out any potential pawn pushes. And, like, I think for a long time here. I think about maybe 6 minutes or 7 minutes. And actually, let me pull up the timestamps here. It says move 16. So yeah, I thought for 5 minutes on rook fc1. And then I thought for another 5 minutes on knight h4. Because this position is very hard to play. And that's a lot of time considering it's a game in 30 delay 5 tournament. So it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. I'm using 1/6 of my time for these last two moves. Because it's really hard to find a move. Like, how do I improve my position? My knight can't move because of the bishop and this knight. And my rook can't move. And of course, I didn't move this rook over to c1 because of the knight takes a2. And now this b3 pawn is also very weak, and I'm probably going to lose that. And I tried to keep in mind that, hey, like, if I might need to give up my extra pawn to get my pieces into the game. Like, I know that concept. I know about that concept. But I never felt there was a good time to do it. Like, maybe even earlier, maybe even like in this position, maybe I should just go rook a d1, giving up the a2 pawn, and maybe that's fine. Like, maybe this is what I should do. But I didn't think it was necessary at the time because I thought, like, oh, you know, I still have ways to improve my position and there's nothing to worry about. But no. So I didn't give back the pawn until it was too late. Already, what my move I was supposed to make, I ended up playing knight h4 because I would love it if he just, like, played a4 and after takes, maybe I could honestly maybe just play knight c2. But even here, this might be losing because if pawn takes, I cannot take his knight because of b2, which is wild. That's so wild. And maybe you could even take my knight and then take because now the pawn is pinned because the rook on a1 is hanging. So honestly, maybe he could have just let me take on f5 and play a4 now. That probably is also winning. Probably. But he decides to keep his bishop and play bishop e6. And I play knight f3 after thinking for another 5 minutes because I just don't have any moves. Like, what moves am I supposed to make? a4 is coming. He's blasting open my position. I could play knight c2, but once again, a4. Although in this case, no. He can't play a4 because the knight on b4 is hanging and too soon. So probably just knight takes, rook takes, and... maybe after bishop e6. Why did I not play knight c2? Why did I not play this move? Oh, I remember now. Yes, because of rook d2. I was too scared of rook d2. And let's say I take the knight, for example. Why are all my pawns hanging? And once this a2 pawn drops, like I cannot defend this a2 pawn. And once this pawn drops, the a2 pawn drops, then the b3 pawn drops, and then the c4 pawn drops. Everything drops, and then he has a rook on the second rank, and I'm like losing everything. Everything is falling apart, and life is sad. So rook d2 was way. I really want to play knight c2, but rook d2 is way too scary. Like I just thought I lost the game, and at this point, I mean, I've accepted that I lost the game. Like even though I'm up a pawn, the position is over. The game's over, and so I just accept that I need to guard this d2 square from his rook from infiltrating. But I think every move loses, and a4 is here. A4 is here, and what is there to do? I guess I could play rook d1. Sure. But then probably pawn takes, and I don't even know what to do. I don't even know. If I take here, then he takes here, deflecting my rook away from the defense of my knight, and if I take him first, then I mean I'm losing all of my pawns, which is not very pleasant. Like I don't even have anywhere for my rook to go. Although maybe in this case, this isn't so bad for me. Oh, no, he can't do that actually. So maybe he can't rush with taking this pawn because his knights are like this. Although honestly, he might be able to. Like for example, rook here, takes here. Maybe he can play a really cool move. Trying to think if there's any back rank issues. They look like there's going to be back rank issues. But basically after a4, my position is falling apart. So I just take. And after rook takes, I play knight c2. Finally getting my knight off of the rim of the board, off the edge of the board. But it's too little too late. He takes my a2 pawn, attacking my rook. I move my rook. We trade. And then he plays knight c3, targeting my e2 pawn and my rook. So I don't really see a point in infiltrating. My rook is alone in the attack, in the infiltration of black's position. So I just defend my e2 pawn. He takes the c4 pawn, attacking this pawn again. Play knight c d4, defending my pawn, and rook a2, and maximum amount of pressure here. If I play e3, then I allowed the knight to come to d3 here, and he's attacking f2 with both of his knights, and this is just bad. Like this is not good. Like he might even be able to play. I don't even know what he wants to play. Everything is winning. Point is, I didn't want to get the knight to d3. I'm not sure where the knockout punch is, but I'm sure it's somewhere soon. I'm sure it's somewhere soon. Instead I play bishop f1 to guard this e2 pawn, but now he plays knight 5 e4. Very fun. And he's just getting his last piece into the game. And he still has 2 passed pawns on this side of the board. He's only up a 1 pawn, but completely dominant position. I play knight e5, attacking his bishop. He does not hang it. And I play f3 to attack his knight. But he goes here to e2 to d2. And I thought, okay, you know what? This is losing, but maybe I can try to complicate things. Maybe I can play knight d7, and after knight takes, rook takes, like if he, I don't know, like if he, like I thought he wanted to play c5 to dislodge my knight from the defense of this, of my e2 pawn. So now knight d7 covers the c5 square. And if he makes a random move like this, and I'll get my knight to c5, and now his bishop, can go here, and then I can take the b7 pawn, and maybe I can try to hold on to this position longer, even though this is probably still lost. But instead of that, he just plays rook d2, and I resign. I mean, I was already under a minute at this point because it was hard finding any moves to make, and the position was still losing. So I sort of resigned, but I was also like at 5 seconds, and I think I just let myself flag. I don't know. I forgot what I did first, resign or flag. That's a good question. I think both might have happened at the same time. But yeah, like it's just a skewer, I guess. I just can't defend. My knights can't defend each other. Like knight c5, then takes, and like that's it. So yeah, that's that. So I ended up losing this game. This is the first game I lost in like 6, 7. Wait, let me think about this. I think 9 games. My first loss in 9 games, something like that. But I mean, it's definitely justified. Matt completely outplayed me. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like I just couldn't move in this position. I couldn't move at all. And I'm just gonna turn on the engine for 1 second here and see how this is. So the engine's loading up right now. So bishop c3 is a good move. And according to a low depth engine, it's plus 0.2 for white. But this is a low depth engine, so it doesn't really matter that much. Knight b4 is a good move because it's a brilliant move, I should say. Because if takes, then knight d5, attacking the bishop and attacking the rook on a1, will be winning. And black could play bishop a5 after takes. Then this move castles. Why can't I play c3? Well, probably because of b6. Okay. And it's only slightly better for black. I mean, it's -1. So you could argue that as winning for black. So knight b4 would be brilliant. And then I would play knight a3 to defend the c2 pawn. I'm not supposed to take. But then bishop f5, it could be a move. Oh, but then I would play knight d2, and this for some reason is winning for white. I don't know why. I guess I open up my bishop. Maybe I can castle long. I don't know. I really do not know. I do not understand this. So I'll definitely have to take a deeper look into this position. But apparently, bishop e2, nothing wrong with that. And everything was very natural here. Castling was the best move. c6. Apparently, I can play knight d4 now, but I didn't like knight e4. Why is this okay for white? Because of c3. Ugh, that's so ugly. But my argument is, I attack the pawn. I attack the knight on b4. I attack the knight. I defend the knight on d4, and I have knight c4 next. Oh. And if knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. Wait, what? Wait, what? Instant rewind. If bishop takes. Oh, I have 2 pieces. I have 2 pieces for the rook. So that's why. And I'm up a piece otherwise. Because if I take like this, if I take the bishop back, now it's just equal material. And it's just equal game. Okay, so yeah, no, I did not think about c3 at all. Knight d4 and c3, I did not think about that at all. That's very high level. That's very high level. And I love it though. I love it. Like if for example, knight goes back, then knight c4, right? Oh, wait, knight takes f5. That's also a threat. Knight d5. And bishop takes, bishop takes. Wow, giving up your light square bishop to play f3. Wow, dude, wait, hold up. That's cool. It's like the b3, c3, and f3, g3. Like, what is this? What is this? But I guess the idea is that after bishop e5, e4. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's awesome. And white is going to win 2 pieces for the exchange, is the idea. Okay, cool. Very cool. I did not calculate any of that, but hey, I'm gonna leave the rest of the engine for the game review section. So thank you guys for watching. I hopefully you guys learned something. I certainly did from this game, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.